All right, we got good news coming up. Two pieces of good news. Number one, we're almost done with this show. And number two, thank glory, hallelujah, the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker are back together again, baby. Eddie Kingston, the romanticist that he is, has taken the bunny back from QT Marshall and given her back to the fishmonger and the meat gentleman, where she belongs. What the... let me make sure I got this right. The butcher and the baker and the candlestick maker, Bunny was their mascot / valet / whatever they call him these days, until suddenly she disappeared without any mention and became QT Marshall's girlfriend over on their YouTube program that even fewer people watch.
And tag team partners with Brandy.
And tag team partners with Brandy as baby faces. And then now she's back. And we never, on this TV program, they explained it, but we never really saw her with QT on this television program, except when they showed her leaving him to come back to where she was on the program before. Oh, fucking hell. So the fishmonger and the meat gentleman with Bunny are in a 4-team match versus Private Party versus Dork Order versus Balding Buck and his brother Buck Hogan. Oh, Buck. In another 4-way, at least 3 of the entrances were in the break, and we got to see Butcher Baker and Candlestick Maker, the big reunion. This was the main event. Winner gets a title match against FTR. I wrote I couldn't possibly give a shit about this match or anything that might happen. I was about to fast forward it, but FTR was on commentary, so I decided I'd leave it on to hear them. And this was where I had my final epiphany, Brian. You know what epiphany is, don't you?
I certainly do.
I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, because I'm going to read it right here from the good old American Heritage Dictionary. See, it's made in America, so you know it's good. Epiphany, I'm skipping over Episcopal, definitely skipping over episiotomy, which is a surgical incision of the perineum during childbirth. That's the taint, right? The episiotomy, you don't want that. But where is epiphany? Epiphany, epistle, epiphany, there we are. A revelatory manifestation, especially of a divine being. Well, this wasn't a divine being, but this was an epiphany. We've had it all wrong, Brian. AEW isn't paying Uncle Dave to be their personal PR guy. He's paying them.
Oh, come on.
He's paying them so many mentions. What would it cost to get your name and your publication and your awards and everything multiple times on TNT, on national television? The Wrestling Observer newsletter has become the Fox News of AEW. They're mentioning his name over and over again. They're mentioning his publication. They're mentioning his awards. The young fucks named a move after him. FTR is dropping his name multiple times. Hey, just because Dave Meltzer gives you 7 stars, Bucks, doesn't mean you can beat everything's about. Dave's paying them. He's made all that money throughout his life by never actually having any fun. And now he's saved it all up and he's fucking paying them to put his shit over on their program. This I can believe now. I never thought that he would take the money from them to abandon his principles. I see that instead, he's been giving them money and they have no principles. So that's the way it makes sense. While this match was going on, and they were doing all the things that all these teams normally do, FTR were the most polite baby faces I've ever heard on commentary. These are quotes. They're proud to be AEW Tag Team Champions. There's some great teams here in AEW. We respect so-and-so in AEW. Tully was not there. with them. Angle alert. So you've got FTR, the heel team champions, out there putting everybody over as how great they are and talking about how Dave Meltzer rewards the Young Bucks with all these stars. The Young Bucks, for the past several weeks, have been trying to convince us that they're heels, but they're hopelessly inept at that, like everything else. Several of the guys in this four-way match could have gone to the Olympics. I believe that firmly. In gymnastics, possibly the uneven parallel bars. There wasn't a goddamn wrestler in this fucking bunch. It got way into ridiculous over and over with all these teams doing what you think that all these teams would do. And finally, the Young Fucks beat Private Party. Wouldn't you know who won the pony? The Young Fucks finally get this long-awaited match against FTR. The Young Bucks versus FTR, what, a year and a half ago would have been the absolute hottest match that you could put together outside of the WWE as in the tag team ranks. Would you concur with that?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now nobody gives a shit. Now that they've actually made it, now that they have seen how that the Young Bucks have been just annoying human beings on this program and couldn't even figure out how to be baby faces so that the heels could come in and be heels. The heels come in to be heels, and the baby faces switch heel at the same time, so the heels have to be baby faces, except when they do an angle. And this has been made such a silly rivalry with all the other goofy teams involved and all the other stupid shit that they did with ice coolers and fucking, I don't know, itching powder, whatever all that shit has been. After Balding and his brother Buck Hogan beat Private Party, then FTR come in and offer them beers. They refuse. And suddenly a masked timekeeper comes in with a chair, and you see old Road Warrior, sorry, that name is retired. You see old Buck Hogan flinch about a second before it lands. He knew it was coming. And of course it's Tully. But then the suddenly FTR are the heels again and the Bucks are the baby faces, even though the Bucks have been acting like pricks for 6 weeks. And FTR was just offering them beers and praising all these other teams and talking so politely. But now they're beating up the Bucks and nobody tries to help. Nobody comes out. Nobody tries to intervene. It just goes on until FTR's finished with it. Actually, until my DVR froze up. Was there any save after that, or did you see anything?
Not any save that I saw. It seemed like it was hard, even though they were beating down the Bucks, for them to stay down and sell. Even after they took out, even after they took out Dick the Buck's leg, he was still fighting, trying to get up.
Buck Lesowski.
You missed the biggest thing that happened during the match. Did you fast forward the match?
I just zoned out on it because it was the same guys doing the same indie bullshit that they usually do. So it was on, but I wasn't paying a lot of close attention.
Do you still have it on your DVR?
Probably not. Why? I know I definitely, as soon as the thing was over with, I disposed of it because I was afraid that I might accidentally see the steak dinner segment again.
The Dark Order guy with the hair, I think that's Reynolds, gets knocked out cold in the middle of the match when Private Party hit a double team move where I think they both came off different turnbuckles and hit him from both sides.
I saw that, but no, he was just selling like nobody.
No, he was knocked out.
Because they just drug him over and tagged him and left him laying there in a comedy spot selling knocked out. He couldn't have really been knocked out.
No, he was really knocked out.
Are you fucking ribbing me?
And that's their concussion protocol, by the way, after the Matt Hardy incident. The referee didn't have any. That referee is clueless to begin with.
There was no. The reanimated corpse, Rick Knox.
Yeah,
There was no signal that whether you could see it or not see it. Nobody was signaling. I thought it was so funny that they just drugged the guy over while he didn't move and was motionless and tagged him and then left him laying there while they started doing other shit. I thought that was one of their comedy spots.
Oh no,
I didn't know that he was really knocked out and nobody gave a fuck.
He was out cold, and they dragged him to the corner to have him make a tag, and then eventually someone checked on him. But he's in the ring, knocked out, all this stuff's happening. No one does anything. No one from the back notices. I noticed right away at home. Other people on Twitter noticed. They didn't send anyone into the ring to check on him for a few minutes. Took a while. Eventually, they start doing spots with him again, and he's clearly lagging. He's clearly a step behind. He can't do it. AEW has a real problem dealing with concussions.
I said, there's no way. Because I was hot that now they fucking hit the double team on the guy, and now you're just laying there, and it's got to be funny there, too. They just were so unprofessional, uncoordinated, unprepared, inexperienced, and stupid that not only they keep knocking all their fucking wrestlers out because none of them can work and they try too much stupid shit, but then when one of them does get brain damage, they just fucking do the goddamn dance routine around him. Well, that's good. That's good to know.
So I brought that up because earlier in the show, you were bringing up the different things that happen on AEW. We didn't just get a song and dance routine. We also got 2 injuries in matches. Phoenix landed on his head and this other guy got knocked out by Private Party. Imagine if he had a broken neck. They just dragged him to the corner. They didn't know what his condition was.
I'm going to say one more thing. Remember when it was on the Drive-Thru this past week, I believe we talked about our hectic schedule in the territory days. I ran over 2 weeks of a Mid-South schedule, but guys in the car every day, working every night, 2 shows on Sunday, TV tapings, double shots, whatever the fuck. I managed the tag team champions, the top heel tag team, in one of the most physical territories in the business, Mid-South Wrestling, where for a year with almost no days off, wrestling a minimum of 8 to 9 matches a week when you counted TV tapings. I don't remember one time in that year that Bobby Eaton or Dennis Condrey, either one, were ever knocked out or hit in the head so hard that they didn't know what they were doing. And here, with these fucking children doing all this horse shit, it happens every week multiple times on live television.
And that referee, again, he doesn't just do a bad job of getting the guys to get out of the ring or
he does no job.
He does nothing. The guy's there. He's clearly messed up. And the referee doesn't even do anything. Just awful across the board.
All right, I'm going to say one more thing. We've added now musical numbers. Breaking into song is another rule.
Yeah,
so
but
no teleportation, no invisible men, no supernatural powers, no tooth and nail, no what?
Well, we don't know when they're going to break into song. It just happened.
As soon as they do it, from now on, as soon as they do it, that's an instant fast forward, like teleportation and these other things. We can't. No, if they're not going to even try, then we're not going to give them the fucking benefit that we give them of bringing a couple 100,000 people to their fucking show to see if it's really as fucking hokey as we say it is.
Jericho's singing for his little band for like 20 years now. MJF's a better singer than him. How about that? How about that?
He was better when he was on Rosie O'Donnell singing "You Are My Sunshine."